Okay, welcome everybody to Friday Coffee. Got a great group here, great program coming up. I'm Susan from the Chamber. We are pleased to have our sponsors, Covenant Chiropractic and Wellness and Cumulus. We'll hear a little bit more from them later, but why don't we start off with just a few housekeeping notes. We have a full room here, but I'm sure we have quite a few people joining us on Zoom, and we do our best to have a hybrid meeting that works for everybody. So if you are joining us on Zoom, you're muted, and we are going to hold our questions till the end, Q&A. So you can put them in the chat, but we are going to encourage you to unmute yourself at the end if you're on Zoom and ask your question. First of all, I want to welcome some new members: Behavioral Perspective, Inc., Civic Central Credit Union, Jefferson City Regional Economic Partnership, the Jefferson City Renegades, Keller Williams Honeybee Realty, that's Melinda Jennings, the Landing Zone, Most Policy Initiatives, Rankin Technical College, and the Curry and Grill. So welcome those new members. Maybe a few of you might be in the room, I'm not sure, but we do introductions. If you want to announce a new member and say anything about yourself. Speaking of introductions, we'll go around the room. Tell us your name, your company, and if there's anything brief you'd like to share about your business or something maybe you're volunteering in the community, we'd love to hear it. So Quinn, you want to start? I'm gesturing towards you over there.
I'm Quinn Rice. Got a number of different things I'm involved with, but ultimately just try to promote hospitality and entertainment in our capital city, and also try to fix up some blighted areas with some good partners and friends of mine as well.
I'm Holly Stitt. Anyone knows that Barony, I'm reviewing a bunch of properties on campus.
Hello, I'm Tierra Sophia with Counseling Drug Free Youth. I'm Adria Holloway. I'm with Counseling Drug Free Youth, and we provide substance use prevention education along with suicide prevention education to youth here in Missouri.
Paul Benny with CNS Business Services, and I also do the Redemption Inside the Walls, and we are taking applications for nonprofits to be our beneficiary next year. And you can find it on redemptioninsidethewalls.com form due by October 31st.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Lozer from PRCG. I not only work for PRCG, but I am also an East Side resident, and I have 4 duplexes across the street from Tower Number 1 in the prison. So that is exciting for me here to be.
Morning, Deb Bushman, Home Family Chiropractic.
Frank Isaac, Evening Rotary and Capillary Interfaith Alliance, Evening Rotaries. Membership drive is continuing. We meet every Tuesday evening, 5:30 p.m. right next door here at Grace Episcopal Church. You're invited.
Hello, I'm Vinnie Jordan. I'm with the Art Gallery Studio LLC, and we're starting new stuff. We're starting kids' art classes. We're starting pour acrylic classes, we're starting glass fusing classes, and we're starting Chef Corey's Culinary Clinic. And you can find all the times and dates on the Facebook website.
Hi, Dan Basil with Home Helpers. I want to remind you this weekend is the Walk to End Alzheimer's on Sundays. Walk starts at 1 p.m. at Memorial Park. Also, I'm a candidate or ambassador for Real Networking campaign, so I'll be putting out some fundraising page on Facebook later this week.
Charles Sullivan, cooked last over years. We're a full-service civil firm out of Kansas City.
Paul Sampson, Central Missouri Professional Services, also engineer, surveying, material testing for construction.
Gary Plummer, I'm with the Jefferson City Area Chamber.
I'm Taylor Yoakum with the Architects Alliance.
I'm Trisha Barnes. I'm with Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. We fix broken buildings, so anything that has to do with your building, we can definitely help you out. We work with different firms to help assist in that project as well.
Why don't we go back over here? We'll go around the outside loop.
Shannon McGowan, I'm a CPA. I work remotely from my home for a firm called Bergen KDV out of Minnesota and Iowa, specifically in the ag industry. I'm here to support my wife.
I'm Crystal Reddick. I'm with Dick Photography. I do a lot of portrait makeover type experiences, a lot of headshots, branding,
beauty. I'm excited about starting a new project highlighting women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and plus, where I'm going to photograph them and tell their stories and create a magazine for the year or next year. So.
Dennis Miller with Legends Bank.
Joe Clova, Legislative. Jay Moore, staff of the chamber.
Hey Jay, you can do something.
Yes. This is Jennifer Ennis. She's an accounting specialist that will be starting with us within the next few days. She's replacing Dana, and I've replaced Angie. So we have some challenges ahead of us trying to fill in for staff that with the years of experience they have. So far, Jennifer is excited and we have gotta keep her close to Disney, but just want everyone to welcome, and if you see a new name, here is the face that goes with that. So thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Good morning, Luke Holtzsnyder, president of the New Jefferson City Regional Economic Partnership. Longtime Jefferson City native, been in the realm of economic development at the state level for about the past 12 years. Excited about all the opportunities here in Jefferson City, excited to be focused on those every day. And so look forward to visiting with the group more moving forward.
Diane Gluskin for Jefferson City Convention Business Bureau, and we also operate tours at MSP.
Hello, Terry Stewart with Congressman William McFire's office.
Evan Bill with Dig Action Construction Company on the business development side. Jason Acker.
Jason Aki, Dig Action Construction Company, local commercial developer and contractor. Also, I'm president of the Home Builders Association, involved with that. We have a Build My Future event for high school students that we're hosting at the fairgrounds on October 20th. Working with skilled trades, showing them hands-on what to do. If you know anybody in skilled trades, it says you don't have any workforce, here's their opportunity to go show what we can do and influence young professionals. October 20th.
Carrie Tergin, Mayor of Jefferson City, and also Carrie's Hallmark Shop.
Very good, good. Okay, well, with that, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Sonia. I'll let you introduce yourself and also tell us a little bit about, we'll change places.
For sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Sonia McGowan, and as you saw, my husband is across the room, Shannon McGowan. I am the owner of Covenant Chiropractic and Wellness. We are a multi-specialty clinic here in Jefferson City. By multi-specialty, I mean we have more than just chiropractic. So we have a lactation consultant, we have a physical therapist who does craniosacral therapy. We also have, we're sort of building in some extra services as we grow. And so we have many ways to help people in our community. We are a very specialized clinic, so we work primarily with kids who have a variety of challenges. So really any kind of behavior, language, or socialization challenge is our specialty. So that may include kids with autism, kids with ADD or ADHD, all the way down to kids who have food allergies, kids who wet the bed, kids who just are struggling to be successful in a mainstream sort of environment. I have worked with kids with autism really my entire career since I was in college. And so that absolutely is my passion. And so when I learned that autism and ADD and other childhood issues along those lines have a physical or medical component, that it wasn't just behavioral, it really set me on fire to bring that sort of healing to kids in our community. So we have several programs, as you see. We also work with, we specialize in prenatal chiropractic. So moms who get adjusted during their pregnancy, research tells us that they have shorter and easier labors, they have calmer, healthier babies. And then once those babies are born, I specialize in pediatric adjusting as well. So I have lots of extensive postgraduate training in those areas. We do lactation consulting for babies who are struggling to nurse effectively. We also do a lot of nutrition testing. So typical people who just worry about, GI problems, food allergies, things like that. We have lots of options for different types of nutrition and food allergy testing. And then we also specialize in what we call TOTS, or tethered oral tissue. So lots of kids and even adults are struggling with having tongue or lip ties. And believe it or not, these are issues that will influence how a child learns to roll over and sit up and walk and speak and talk and be successful in their home and in their classroom. So we have a really all-encompassing program that helps identify tethered oral tissue, helps get the child ready for the release if that's needed, a tongue or lip tie release. And then we do follow-up therapy with them to make sure that they have the best outcomes possible. So as you can see, we're very specialized. We're not your average chiropractic office. We have families who come to us literally from all over the United States. We do telehealth, so we have families who come for our expertise from all over the world. And you'll see in front of you that you have a folder, and inside the folder is lots of specific information about our clinic. So if you know of any kids or adults who would benefit from the things that we do, you can definitely see inside a description of each of our programs. You can see a wrap card that just gives you a little bit of information, a little bit of testimonial on the back of some families we have helped. And so it's just a nice overview of what you can expect from our clinic. We have extra, so if you would like to take some, if you're, I see a lot of you going, oh yeah, that you may know of someone who would benefit from our services, please feel free to take an extra copy and share with whoever you think would benefit. So we're so happy to be here. We're happy to be a member of the chamber. And if you have any questions, you'll find my email address and our phone number in the folder. I actually have patients at 10 o'clock, so I may not be here for the Q&A, but if you have questions, feel free to call or email me. So very nice to be here. Thank you so much. Sure.
I'll be on this side ready to take a photo.
All right, so I have a door prize for you. We have a CBD gummy sample for you. We've got a little candy, and then also a gift certificate to my clinic. So let's draw for the winner. I like the person who wadded theirs up, so I would be able to find it most easily. Jason Aki, you are the winner. How are you?
So you may take it. No gummies, but the.
Right, gotta save those for that time.
Here, do you?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Great presentation. As I'm walking up here to start driving again, I will say that your business could be a Friday Coffee sponsor also. We're already booking months in 2022. So we appreciate our partnership with Cumulus because you get the announcements here. But Rochelle Weaver actually works with you on some advertising, so announcing your business. And I don't know if Rochelle is on the Zoom call. I don't want to skip over her. Rochelle? Okay, well, anyway, we appreciate Rochelle Weaver and her phone number's there with Cumulus. I'm going to go through some announcements quickly because we've got a great program and we want to make sure that we have opportunity to have plenty of time for Q&A. Just an announcement to those new members I mentioned, and really to anyone, if you didn't get a chance to come to what we call our new member lunch, we invite you to join us. That's Tuesday, October 12th. That's 11:30 in this room, and you just need to RSVP. It's a great chance for you to meet other new members and kind of get an overall scope of the chamber mission and the benefits that we can provide you. Social Media Forum is one of our regular programs that we have each month. Really benefits our members, great value. It is a hands-on experience. You come here to the chamber, Natalie and Kenny Newville generally will facilitate that, or they'll find a great speaker to do so. So October 21st at 8 o'clock. We have, the topic is creating social campaigns for Black Friday, social Small Business Saturday, and Giving Tuesday. So it's time to start thinking about those social media campaigns for your business, and we encourage you to participate in this. Another event that we have that you can participate in, it's a monthly event on the third Thursday, Chamber Connections. It's October 21st from 4 to 5:30 at Canterbury Hill Winery. You can bring your business card and network. It's a great way to network, a lot different than how you might network here where it's more formal. This is very informal. We appreciate our sponsor, Hawthorne Bank, for helping with that, and also the group's Zimmer Radio. The Business Leadership Summit, I'm going to kind of cue this up a little bit. If you have been involved in the chamber, you know we had a business expo, and the last time we had one was in 2019. And we knew at that time that we were going to change it up a little bit. So we had a great plan for 2020 for our new Business Leadership Summit, which would combine the best of an expo and add some more value to our members. And we weren't able to do that. But my co-chairs that helped plan it for 2020, Missy Larson from Huber and Associates and Katrina Tenen from Central Bank stayed with me, and we are ready to have our summit on November 10th. So if this video works.
Missy Larson from Huber and Associates.
And I'm Katrina Tenen from Central Bank, and we are the co-chairs for the new Business Leadership Summit, November 10th at the Capitol Plaza Hotel.
We are so excited to announce that our keynote speaker for the summer is Missouri Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer. He will lead our lineup of awesome speakers at the conference, Style Expo.
The Business Leadership Summit is November 10th at the Capitol Plaza Hotel, and it's going to be even better than past Chamber Expos.
Absolutely. It's a half day packed full of information and business networking, starting with the award luncheon to announce the Small Business and Exceptional Employee Award winners. And you'll even hear the winning pitch in the $5,000 Pitch It to Win It competition.
Throughout the day, industry leaders will share best practices in HR, technology, finance, and sales. Plus, Governor Parson will be our special guest at the VIP networking reception.
You definitely won't want to miss this opportunity for your business. Conference participation, sponsors, and business displays are selling fast.
So make your reservations today. Go to jcchamber.org. We'll see you there.
Okay, and if you're in the room, I have a flyer in front of you that is basically this information. I would just add that we are very excited about this format. And the question I get mostly is it still an opportunity to have a booth? Well, you don't have a booth, so it's not the trade show where you stand and man a table all day and hope that people come by. It's really more interactive. And you can see there everything going on with the stage and the seating and the tables, the booths around the outside perimeter. So we really feel like whether you choose to have a display table and work that display, or maybe it's going to be a static display, you will get really benefit for that opportunity. If you have any questions, my number's on the card, or reach out to me and I can get you signed up. One thing was mentioned in the video, and we're really excited to kick off this event with our Small Business and Exceptional Employee Awards Luncheon. One more time to congratulate the candidates for the Business Award: Align Chiropractic, Branded, Butterfly Treasure House Hospice Boutique, Christopher Scott Farmers Insurance, CrossFit Unstoppable, Fortified Roofing and Siding, Home Helpers, Marble Graphics, Ready Popped, and Studio 573. Well, today is the day we announce the 4 finalists that will move on. So congratulations to our 4 finalists. So you're getting the news here: Align Chiropractic Clinic, Butterfly Treasure Hospice Boutique, Fortified Roofing and Siding, and Studio 573. So you'll hear more about them in the next couple weeks. In the same token, our Exceptional Employee Award candidates, Danny Kraus from AirServe, Sarah Hildebrand from Giannis Coffee Zone, Sally Ince from Jefferson City Magazine, Kent Kaiser from NH Shepherds, Sarah Osborne from Big Whiskeys, Joe Shanks from Hy-Vee, Cassandra Stegman, Cap Region Medical Center, Phil Stiles from Jeff City Parks, Lane Wallace from Stockman Stoneworks, and Adam Strobel from Jefferson Bank. And announcing our finalists, 4 finalists for that award: Kent Kaiser from NH Shepherds, Cassandra Stegman, Capital Region Medical Center, and Phil Stiles, Jeff City Parks, and Adam Strobel with Jefferson Bank. So congratulations to all of those candidates and the 4 finalists, and we look forward to the opportunity to announcing them at our award luncheon that we have at the Business Leadership Summit. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gary because he's going to say great things about you, Mayor. Sorry, we caught you off guard. Gary, do you want to just speak?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan. It's my pleasure to introduce Carrie Tergin, who is the owner of Carrie's Hallmark in Jefferson City and also an artist and photographer. She was elected mayor of Jefferson City in 2015 after serving 6 years on the city council. She's a graduate of Jefferson City High School and Missouri State University. She also serves on the board of governors for Missouri State University. She's been involved in many civic and charitable organizations. And I just have to say that having been gone from Jefferson City for the last 20 plus years, I've had the opportunity to watch the mayor operate online and through social media. But it wasn't until I got back to town in April that I really realized how committed she is and what an exceptional leader she is and the time that she commits to that job. And I think we're all very lucky to have a person like Carrie Tergin in the seat of mayor right now. So please help me welcome Mayor Carrie Tergin.
Thank you, Gary, for that introduction. I am excited to be here today and get to present on this. Thank you for asking me to come and talk about my favorite place, which is the prison. So I really enjoy getting that opportunity to talk about it. So I'm going to give you an update on what's going on with that. And also want to mention on Zoom, thank you for those that are joining us on Zoom. We do have, I know Mr. David Parmalee, who is our developer from Chesterfield Group, was also planning to join us by Zoom. He's got another meeting at 9:30, so I'm not sure if he's still on, but I did want to mention that he's taken a great interest in this, and you're probably more familiar with his development around here in Columbia, which is the Broadway Hotel with the rooftop bar and also the Hampton Inn there by campus. So he's super involved already in the mid-Missouri area with some development. So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is going on with MSP redevelopment. And I will take you through a little bit of a timeline of kind of where we are and how we got here. So as we know with MSP, which is just right down the street from us, MSP was decommissioned in 2004. So we start to think about kind of where we've been and what we've been doing with MSP over the years. And looking at our timeline in 1998 to 2007, here's kind of what's happened. So the state formed the Missouri State Penitentiary Redevelopment Commission to look at the site as it was decommissioned. And then they came up with a master plan to put some development there. And the master plan we're still using as a guide today. So all that work that they've done back then. Also, we know that the Lewis and Clark State Office Building was completed in 2005 on the site. The Missouri Public Health Lab was completed in 2006. And then we look at 2009 to 2016, access to the public for MSP tours. So we have Diane Gillespie, our Convention and Visitors Bureau chairman, and the tours at MSP have been very successful, but we're very thankful for that partnership with the state to have access for tours to MSP. Then there was a lot of phase 1 and phase 2 brownfields and demolition on certain buildings that was completed over the years. Another important thing to note was the federal courthouse that was completed in 2016 across the street there on Lafayette. And these are things that have been happening over the years that all kind of are culminating in prison redevelopment and why those things were placed in those sites. And we're so lucky to have that federal courthouse there where it is right here in Jefferson City, as we know other cities also wanted that. And we look at the Lafayette interchange completed in 2016. And the Lafayette interchange was built to give us access to the historic penitentiary, knowing that the state had an interest in making that a major destination and tourist attraction. So then we jumped to 2017, and that is when we had conveyance of 31 acres to the city of Jefferson for redevelopment. And at that time, we established the Missouri State Penitentiary Community Partners to look at the site, which was made up of all kinds of partners in our community, the city, the county, the state, the CVB, the chamber. So we all came together to look at this. We had a lot of public input, and you probably remember all those public meetings and open meetings that we had to gain input on this plan and this site. So this was really definitely public and private partnership to the fullest in getting all of this information together. So what I just went over was the last 22 years. And now I'm going to tell you about the last 2 years. So it's pretty remarkable when you think about the last 22 years and all that I've talked about and all that we've come to. And now here we are finally within the last 2 years, actually being able to get real development happening by bringing a real developer, getting commitment from groups that say, okay, we are ready to build, we want to commit funds and resources to this project. So that's the last 22 years. What's happened over the last 2 years? Well, as soon as we decided to put out the RFQ and get our qualified developers, the tornado happened. And it was literally within a week of that tornado that we were getting this out. So that was May of 2019. And as we know, the tornado actually has literally physically changed the look and landscape of MSP because it went right through MSP, not around it, but literally right through the heart of MSP. So it has significantly changed a few of those buildings. We have the 5 housing units. A few of them are historic, a few of them are not part of the tours, but we know that the way the tornado has changed that will also affect how this development happens. So the MSP community partners, basically after getting the qualified developers back and having the open meetings, we recommended Chesterfield and Arcturus Group to move forward with development of the site. And the master developer was also approved by the city council to move that forward to the next step in getting a development agreement. And we are still working on that. And I do want to mention, and I have a timeline here, which is also interesting to look at from 1998 to where we are now. So in 2021, a few other notable things that have happened at MSP is the city received EDA funding for MSP infrastructure to the tune of 1.5 million. And we got the EDA grant. The EDA, the D on that is Economic Development for Disaster Recovery. So the fact that the tornado hit us also gave us an opportunity to apply for and get this EDA grant. But that timeline is ticking, so we have to spend that money on infrastructure at MSP. Cole County, which is a big partner in this, has committed $1 million to infrastructure within the project, and the city has matched that 1 million. In fact, we have committed 2.1 million for MSP infrastructure. And as we know, we also have the lodging tax funds to put forward that we have been saving up for a conference convention space to put at the site. So those are just a few of the funds that we have in addition to the private funds that Chesterfield Group and the developer has to put into this. So we're talking definitely multi-million dollars, and thankful to the state for deeding the property over so we can make this happen. And a couple things too that have changed that I mentioned with the tornado and kind of where we are also is that we're indicating the developer's interest. We added this after the tornado to take on additional project areas adjacent to the MSP redevelopment area if the state were to open additional areas of the Missouri State Penitentiary for redevelopment, because we realized the area we got conveyed that while we know what area we want to redevelop, that there might be some opportunities after the tornado has destroyed certain areas of the site that we may want to come in there. If we had seen the tornado coming, we might have asked for a little bit of different land in the first place. So who would have seen that coming, because we don't get tornadoes, right? So as we look through here, I do want to start off with some trivia. Diane knows the answer to this because she uses this. And that's how I learned it, and I do love it, because what 3 things does Jefferson City have that no other city in the country has? So we have a capital, we have a river, and a historic penitentiary. We are the only city in the country with all 3. So it's so important that we take what we have as a city and we utilize those assets. They've been a bit underutilized, but we are really coming together and doing that, as we know from our historic penitentiary and our tours in the MSP redevelopment. Capitol Avenue, as we look at the area surrounding our Capitol, that we're utilizing that. Holly knows that firsthand from your renovation, and those of you like Chris that live and work around here. And then speaking of the river, the Bicentennial Bridge. So we are really starting to utilize what we're given as a city, but we're going to focus on the historic penitentiary right now. And this is a picture of Housing Unit 3, I believe, and you look at the historic architecture and just how amazing that is. And then I'm going to jump to utilizing the prison as a venue. So I was elected mayor in 2015, and we had in 2016 our first concert Inside the Walls, which was put on by the Salute to America Foundation Board in partnership with a lot of groups that came together to make this happen. And has anyone been to a concert Inside the Walls? If so, you know what I'm talking about and what an amazing venue space this is. So Travis Tritt was our first time in the Walls, and it just shows that open upper yard that we can utilize it for event space. So imagine when we do have hotel and conferences that they can use this upper yard. And there was Travis Tritt, and I put the slide in because he was so special to have here, and it poured down rain and people didn't care and they had the best time. And he said at this moment when he gave me that hug, and he said, all these people came out to see me in the rain. He said, I wouldn't have come out to see this in the rain if it was Elvis coming back. He was just the cutest. He just had the best time here at the Pen. And then in 2017, we had Winona the second year, and that was really fun. And then in 2018, we had Big and Rich. So that's my favorite selfie of all time, probably, at least the most rockin' selfie that I ever took. But I like to show the concert inside the walls because that was a way to utilize the space. And imagine if we have a permanent stage there, a permanent place that we can have events. And so if you're there for a hotel or you're having your conference there and you want to have maybe an outdoor reception area, that you could utilize the upper yard. So these are all things that we show, and we've proven that if you hold an event that people will come and that it's a very interesting event space and venue. And then we also think about tourism. And what I love about this is the tour bus that's kind of sketched on there, because as we know, it brings people to Jefferson City to the tune of several thousand. So we know that every year we have around 30,000. It increases every year. I think it was, started at about 1,800 the first year they did tours, all the way up to over 30,000. And if you look at other comparable prisons and retired penitentiaries, Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania has over 300,000 visitors a year. So we feel that we can attain exponential growth when you think about how these are tourist destinations. And we have what it takes here. We have the history, we have the capital, we have the river. We're 100 years older than Alcatraz. So what we have at our prison is amazing history. This is housing unit 4, known as A Hall. And this was prior to the tornado, because if you look at it now, the roof was completely ripped off by the tornado. There was no roof left on this after the tornado. So as we speak, they are putting a roof on. So 2 years later, 2 years of weather and neglect have happened, but it's still salvageable. And we're thankful that a roof is being put on there. This is a partnership between the state of Missouri and our CVB. The state still owns these historic structures. None of this is in our conveyance. This is still state property, but we are thankful that the state is working on getting this roof put on. As part of the agreement, all of the tour revenue, there's a significant portion that goes right back into these properties at the prison. So after the tornado, it's even more important, because we cannot lose where Sonny Liston learned to box, and you can name, go on and on about the history of this most historic housing unit. And I'll refer to this housing unit 4 a couple of times, so I want you to know kind of when I'm talking about it, what this is. And it also is a place when we had concert inside the walls, we held a dinner in housing unit 4. So this is where the tours are. This is where you can hold dinners and events. This is the ultimate project to hold the history into the future. This is highlighting where Jefferson City was and the history of the architecture and the penitentiary and all that goes with that, with getting us into the future and mixing those two. And at the end of the presentation, Diane's going to talk about tours, but you may want to bookmark MissouriPennTours.com and be sure to have a tour if you haven't already. And then this is 2018. This is our conveyance in red. So that part in red is city owned. And what's important about that is you look at the area, that mainly the rectangle, the other is kind of roads and whatever, but the rectangle, there's nothing there. It's a parking lot. It's a field that's been cleared of any buildings. So it is ready basically for redevelopment. So that is where all the things I'm talking about would eventually go. We kind of drew the line there thinking this is the area that makes sense for redevelopment. And this next slide is the original master plan that I referenced before. So I'll toggle a little bit back and forth because you can see this is what it looks like today. Well, not really, some of the roofs, and some of those are damaged after the pre-tornado. And then this is what the state envisioned. Right in the middle of our conveyance, that's the convention center. So this is nothing new. The convention center has been planned and contemplated to have there since, for the last however many years with the master plan. Now we've shifted it a bit closer to the river so we can get the views, but this is what we're talking about here. So taking the spirit of the original master plan, and of course you can see all the state office or office buildings by DNR, which is up in the upper right corner. Those are all contemplated for future development. We have to remember there's still 95 acres at MSP from here to Riverside Park that the state still owns if they ever wanted to do potential office development. So the part we're talking about is going to be more of the tourism and the nightlife and fun type of development. So this I always like to highlight because this is the deed to the land that Governor Parsons signed, and it is real and it's hanging in my office. So getting that was a huge accomplishment to move this forward. And then this is the old shoe factory or saddlery factory that's right on the river. And it was already deteriorating at that time. It's deteriorated even more, so likely will not be saved. And then after the tornado, forget it. It's probably going to be gone, but that's okay. We realize there's a give and take and that will happen. But right behind that is Housing Unit 5, which also will likely come down. But imagine that this is where the hotel will be. So I put this in here to show you what the view will be from the hotel, from the rooftop bar. Imagine if you could take your colleagues and your friends after work one evening to the rooftop bar and be able to look out your window, or if this is your hotel window and you get to see the beautiful Missouri River, or look over and see the historic buildings at the Penn, or look over and see the Capitol, which is less than a mile view from here. This is just another view of the Missouri River from Housing Unit 5, which is the site of the potential new hotel. And then Housing Unit 5 that I'm talking about is the red brick building on the far right side of your screen. So that is where we're talking about. And the other, Housing Unit 4, the historic one, is the one right there in the middle that we're putting the roof on. So as we look at the topography, the reason I put these next two slides is to show you the topography. The building I showed you just earlier that I said will not survive is the one on the very right. That's down by the river. It's kind of down in the hole there. But the good thing is the way these developers have planned this development by putting the hotel there and a potential garage and connecting it to Lafayette, it all fits within the topography. So this is a very hilly site. If you haven't been on there, there's quite a distinction. And that's why I put this on there to show you. We're talking 50 feet. I mean, we're talking major topography there that lends to this particular development. And they're really utilizing the assets and the shape and the size of the site. So now this shows you the proposed new hotel. So Housing Unit 5 that we showed earlier, that would be the views that we talked about. And then Housing Unit 4 is shown right next to it there. The good thing about putting the hotel there is it's a good mix. It's almost the same size as what's currently there. So it wouldn't overshadow, it would blend right in. It's in fact shorter, not as wide, not as long, I guess, as the current Housing Unit 5. Now, whether Housing Unit 5 stays or goes, we're still working on. Like I said, that is state owned, but after the tornado, it has changed. So the tornado might have actually lent itself to an even better development for the redevelopment purposes, for putting a hotel and conference center there. So it also creates, like I mentioned on here, a front door, a sense of arrival onto the prison site, being able to come on Lafayette and have this hotel and conference center. And it also will link our hotel and conference space. The conference center you can kind of see on the far right. You see that building next to it there. So definitely a lot of benefits to putting this development here. And then also it maximizes the views from our rooftop bar that I mentioned earlier, and restaurant, the conference center, and the hotel guest rooms. And also this particular plan allows for future expansion, which is important because we assume that we will continue to grow there. And then lastly, too, I want to talk about the river and how we know that we're talking about the Bicentennial Bridge, and we know that we have river access there. But the river also, of course, extends in front of MSP, and Adrian's Island does too. So when you look at this slide and you see that's Lafayette, that's the housing units that I talked about. And there's the federal courthouse on the right and MSP on the left. So imagine that brick building on the left becoming our hotel space. And those trees that you see, that's Adrian's Island. So Adrian's Island starts at the Capitol, it ends at the penitentiary. So we believe there's also an opportunity to utilize Adrian's Island. And I put back the master plan up here, the slide you saw earlier, because on the very top, that thing that shoots out on the top, that is contemplated to be a marina. So the original master plan, when they developed that, they envisioned that there would also be river access at the penitentiary site, which makes a lot of sense. So we hope that eventually there will be. We know there's a lot easier access to get there than what we currently had to build at the Capitol, but we envision that that would all tie together, that maybe they could build something here that would also access the river. Also, the ice arena is something that we are talking about putting there. It would be a little bit closer to where they originally contemplated the original conference center. And we had a feasibility study that just came back within the last month to put 2 sheets of ice there. It came back very favorable. And as we also know, ice arena is not only for ice, it could be used for anything from expo space to pickleball to event center. And so to have it here would be a wonderful tie-in with the state penitentiary. So, and also the fact that we're one of very few cities that has ice in our state. Kansas City, St. Louis, and Springfield have ice. And we do, and we really take it for granted and don't realize what an asset that really is, not only for tourism, but just to have it here. But back to the riverfront, I want to talk a little bit about Adrian's Island. This is a picture we took years ago on Adrian's Island, and I put it on there just to show you how thick the trees are there, because people may think there's really nothing on the island, which is about a mile long. As I said, it goes from the Capitol to the penitentiary, but the trees are super large and thick, and it's a beautiful space. So that was several years ago when we started working on this and talking about it. And then this is yesterday. So this shows, you can see all those thick trees that I took those pictures in. So took this yesterday, and we should have that bicentennial bridge completed in about a month. So we're going to get down to the river, and won't it be cool when we can someday in the future start there at the Capitol and end up at the prison? So here is just an idea, a concept of the hotel that would be there. The proposed hotel would be a Tapestry type of hotel. I believe it's Tapestry by Hilton, if I'm remembering correctly. But Tapestry is a brand that is more unique, like a tapestry. This is not going to be a cookie cutter hotel, a typical development that you're going to see on the side of an interstate. This is going to be the most unique type of hotel that will utilize the theme of being at the prison and the history and Jefferson City and the river and Capitol. So we want to utilize that. This is going to be more of a mix of, I've heard it compared to anything from a Branson Landing to the Power and Light District, and a mixture of that. Because what we have is our own very unique type of opportunity to bring people to a place that they've never really had an opportunity to see around the state or really around the country, to come here to Jefferson City, to utilize this, and for those of us that live here to have these amenities that we should have in a capital city. So what are the next steps as we move forward? We're currently working on the development agreement with the developer. I mentioned Chesterfield Group, the developer, and they have hired Carrie Construction, which is one of the top construction firms in the state of Missouri. And they are working through all of the plans. And as we get our approvals from the state moving forward, as the state signs off on what we have proposed, then we will be able to complete the development agreement. And City Council has put a deadline of this December to get the development agreement. You may remember it was originally last December, but then the pandemic put a little halt on that. I mean, first we had the tornado deal with this, and then the pandemic. So hospitality industry, it was very challenging, but despite that, I believe we will still meet our ultimate deadline, which was given to us by the state, to break ground in July of 2022. So currently that's where we're at with this. And I think, yeah, that's all of the slides, but that is kind of a quick overview of the prison. And I'm going to ask if there's questions about this, and I'm going to turn it over to Diane to give us some details on the tours. Yes, Frank?
How will the conference center be managed?
Likely by Chesterfield Group, the developer. He typically would manage his hotels. Yes.
You might not have an answer to this, I'm gonna ask it anyway. So July 22 is the breaking ground. When do you, just out of curiosity, and like I said, I don't think you have an answer to this, but July 22, when do you think it would be finished?
That depends. I know that construction, depending on how and where, could take anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. And those are things that we're working on. Yes, I wouldn't hold me to that, but that is what I've heard as far as building the hotel. That's about the timeline it could take. So it's pretty impressive to think that if all the approvals happen, and if City Council approves things in December, and if we're able to get the development agreement, which that's going to be pretty tight to get that, since we are still working with the state on some of the logistics and whether all this will be approved by the state. So once we get the state's approval, then we have a quick timeline to get that development agreement. But whenever that happens, within 2 years, we should be able to see a hotel theoretically could be done 18 months to 2 years. Could be. So we're hoping. And then what comes first, whether it's ice arena, hotel, what's done first. We feel this is the first phase. Something that I'm glad you mentioned that I didn't mention is the other areas on the site, the area around Capitol Avenue that also is owned by the state, that we feel that once this happens, it will open up the other acreage on the site for them to put, whether it's, office space, residential, whatever it may be, that opens up the rest of the space for redevelopment.
The hotel itself, is that being built with the convention center at the same time, or is it the hotel first and then the convention center?
Likely they would be built at the same time, because the way this particular plan, it shows both of them where they could be built at the same time. And when I mentioned breaking ground, that likely would be breaking ground for the roads too. We don't want to build the roads till we know exactly where the development will lay. So that's the challenge. We have the funds for the roads. We can build the roads. It's a requirement of the state that we do that. But until we know where, if we have an ice arena or which, where this is going to land on the site, we want to make sure we have all that squared away. But I feel pretty certain that that could be laid out theoretically by the state's deadline of July of 22 to at least get some shovels in the ground, to at least get that infrastructure and roads moving forward. So pretty exciting. Yes.
Could you expand on how this river access will work?
Yes, I think that would be up to the developer really to do that. But we feel that if you think about the site at Chestnut is at grade, and currently where we're building the Bicentennial Bridge at the Capitol is very, high up topography. So we feel that putting something over at the prison would be probably a simple type of structure that could get people to the river so that they could access it and make a loop. And speaking of the river, and I did put these at everybody's place, speaking of the Bicentennial Bridge, I'll put a little plug for our paver campaign. So we do have a park that's going to be built at the on the Bicentennial Bridge on Adrian's Island. So if anybody wants to buy a paver, we are selling those. So I did leave that. We are still fundraising, and I'll tell you what, we're never going to stop fundraising because hopefully we'll be able to build one over at the prison. So we're just going to keep on fundraising as long as I'm here. We'll just keep on doing that. Diane, do you want to talk a little bit about the tours? Sure. And if you want to come up here, because is this, I don't know if the camera's really on, but if this is where people could hear you on Zoom too.
Yeah, just real quickly. So as you know, Carrie mentioned that, we've had the tornado, we've had the pandemic. So we have not had a normal year at MSP since 2018. And in 2018, we had almost 34,000 folks come through. And we're gradually trying to get back up there. But this year has been okay. Started out a little slow, picked up, and then dropped back down in July because of the Delta. School groups are starting to come back a little bit. Motor coach groups, we had a couple booked in this fall, canceled in July with us. So we're gradually kind of rebuilding, but I will say for the month of October, all of our ghost tours are sold out completely. Somehow people think that we only have ghost in October. And we tried to share with them that, we have all these other months, but October is the only month that ghosts come out. So, we are in a rebuilding phase. History tour numbers are down a little bit, we think. They are down. And I think it's because we don't have access to Housing Unit 4. And we say that on our website. And, the history folks are coming for the history, and Housing Unit 4 is very important to this site. So we're hoping that when we open it back up next season, that we'll be able to do a major campaign that let folks know that we're back and forth, and that those numbers will continue to go up. But ghost tours they're crazy. So anyway, we do have some openings during the week if you want to catch a ghost tour. So yeah, things are moving along with MSP, and we're excited about the redevelopment and want to get it going. So keep moving. Yes.
Do you take the tours through the old gas chamber? Was that?
Yes. Yeah, we have access to 4 buildings on site. Housing Unit 1, which is the building that you access off of Lafayette Street. We go out into the courtyard, and to the left is Housing Unit 4, which we do not have access to it. We were able to get access in the very beginning of the season. We just took them into the main floor area, but then we had plaster start falling off of the walls. And so due to liability wise, we shut it down at that point. And then we have access to Housing Unit 3. We also opened up the Centennial Cells, which is located between Housing Unit 3 and Housing Unit 2. And then we go down to the gas chamber. Any other questions?
Centennial Cells, the ones that are underground that you found?
Yeah, the ones that were buried up, and we dug those up and got those going. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, come over. Anything else? Okay, thanks.
And I don't know if we have any Zoom questions, or I'm not sure if Mr. Parmley's on there or not, but we do appreciate him joining us.
I think they're just announcements. Yeah.
Great. Well, we appreciate the support for this project, and I do also want to give a shout out to our new Jefferson City Regional Economic Partnership. I know that Luke is newly on board, and we've thrown him right into this huge potential for economic development. So it's kind of good to have Luke on at the same time, and everything is really aligning to make this happen. So I know it's like we have talked about the last 22 years of where we've been with MSP, and since it was, contemplated and then decommissioned, and here we are now today, and to see that all that's led up to this is now leading to the redevelopment portion is really exciting for our city. And I can't wait to get that all developed and have a place that we can actually go and celebrate and have the river view and have the history and the future, and combining our tourism with everything that MSP really can be. And I don't take it for granted any day, because I know that it's important that we reinvest in the properties to keep the history alive and keep them going, and then also adding in the new development in this perfect site overlooking the river.
And I have one more thing I wanted to mention to you. Besides the tours, we do film projects on site. And we had a film project come on site in June, and it was the Ghost Hunters. And so they will be premiering on, we think maybe October 30th. But that's kind of the teaser that's been out there, but we have not had definite confirmation of that. So as soon as we have it, we will blast it out. But they were here in October, and we have another film group coming in November. So it's been busy with film projects.
Sorry. Awesome. That's awesome to have that national recognition for Jefferson City with those TV shows. And so many of them have filmed in the prison, movies and shows and you name it, and they want to get in there. And if you've ever gone at like 10 o'clock at night, which I've done before, and seen this group in front of there, and I mean, they have a little thing, like a suitcase full of equipment to go in there and take pictures and just the regular, tours. And they come in there and they're so excited to be there. I've never seen anything like it. It's very cool. We don't even realize what's going on in there.
Well, just to wrap up, I want to thank the mayor for her presentation. Luke, welcome aboard. I know you're a big part of this effort today. Diane, thanks for everything you've done to make this happen. I want to say that this whole concept of starting at the state capitol and ending up at the prison can work. I was the chamber director at Springfield, Illinois for 8 years. I saw it happen to 2 governors. We started at the Capitol and ended up in prison. I knew I was taking a risk. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Susan, any closing comments?
Well, is there anybody online that wants to unmute yourself and maybe make an announcement? We invite you to do so. Maybe not.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
This is Crystal Backer with Catholic Charities. We will have an open house next Saturday to have our new Health and Social Services Center where we can expand the services we offer. That includes a food pantry, universal use health rooms. That will be October 16th from 1 to 4 p.m. at our new location at 1015 Edmond Street.
Hi, this is Darcy Crane with the American Cancer Society, and I know Dan already mentioned this, but October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please support our Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And 2 that are on today, Dan Basil and Christopher Scott, are 2 of our ambassadors. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Katrina Tinnen from Central Bank on behalf of the Red Slipper Warrior Project. A lot of you are probably familiar with Angie Palooza, a street concert we have had downtown for lots of years that helps support the Red Slipper Warrior Project. We've outgrown downtown and we're moving it out to the amphitheater this year. We're really excited to be welcoming Phil Vassar. He's a country music singer and songwriter legend, lots and lots of hits and top 40s, number ones. 2 weeks from today is our show. So October 22nd at the amphitheater. Tickets can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com or at the box office there at the amphitheater. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. It's Donna Stone with the Jefferson City Area Board of Realtors. On Wednesday, October 20th is our 19th annual Realtors and Friends Keep the Home Fires Burning. It's a fundraiser we do for the Samaritan Center. It's going to be drive-through only again this year at the Eagles, but we'd welcome you to come out and enjoy some chili and dessert and all the good fixings. Like I said, it will be drive-through only again this year, just to be on the safe side. So if you have any questions, give me a shout, or all of our local realtors have tickets you can purchase.
Good announcements. Anybody in the room have one last announcement they want to make before we call it? Okay.
Council for Drug Free Youth has our annual magic show this Sunday, so if you're not busy at 3 p.m., it's at the amphitheater. So it's a fundraiser for our programs that we provide with the schools.
Anyone else? Well, we appreciate you being here. Next month, Friday Coffee, November 12th. It's always the second Friday at 9 o'clock. And our topic will be presented by State Technical College of Missouri. So it should be very interesting to have the folks from Lynn join us and talk about all the great things they have going on with their college. So, Carrie, you think that? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know.